Bill Arkin, the senior national correspondent from Newsweek, is behind this exclusive reporting and is with us this morning to discuss it. Thanks for being with us, Bill.
Thanks for having me on.
So I would think that someone in the Trump organization has to think that someone was the snitch here, right? Is that the gist of this?
Well, the FBI calls them confidential human sources. And so the word informer, which is more informal, is not necessarily what we're looking at here. It might have been somebody who appeared before the grand jury and said something. It might have been somebody on the staff or at Mar-a-Lago who said something to the FBI. So it's a confidential informant and it's a person, but we don't really know any more details than that.
Well, do we know anything more this morning about what specific documents they were looking for?
Well, we know a little bit more, which is to say that we understand that the documents were highly classified, that they had contained national security information. There's lots of speculation as to what the subject matter of those documents are. And really, because of the nature of the search and because it was so unprecedented to actually do a search inside a former president's home, never in American history has that been done. It really is up to the Justice Department at this point to produce something that would be commensurate with such an act. And they had to convince a Florida judge that this was the case. And so I expect in the coming days, it's not just going to be something about the National Archives retrieving records for the archives. It's going to be something more important and more explosive.
Even more explosive, since Trump actually signed that law in 2018, making it a felony to keep in classified documents. So, I mean, do we have any idea, regardless of what the documents are, why he would want to be keeping them?
Well, we know from the beginning, from the transition between the Trump and the Biden administrations, that there has always been a question as to whether or not the Trump White House returned all of the records that were required to be returned to the archives. They've been discussing this and going through this for now 18 months. And in fact, in January of this year, the Trump administration, the Trump White House, returned 15 boxes of documents to the FBI. And then in June of this year, there was a discussion, and even the FBI visited Mar-a-Lago because they thought that what remained in the Trump home wasn't properly secured. And so the storage room that was searched on Monday, they put a big lock on it and made it more secure so that not anybody could wander in there. I think in the process of this whole investigation, because they felt that Trump was continuing to withhold documents, and in fact that he had them in his personal safe, this is what provoked the FBI to want to do a search. And we're going to find out in the next days and weeks what exactly they recovered. And if it's not really important or significant to the national security of the United States, I think we're going to see much more scandal ahead.
Is the thinking that these documents must be something incriminating to the former president?
No, I don't think that that's the case. I'm guessing that the documents are, in fact, national security information, that they might relate to intelligence sources and methods, or they might relate to the capabilities of the U.S. intelligence community, or they might relate to some foreign country, perhaps like, again, who's on the U.S. payroll in those foreign countries, et cetera. It's something that really has to do with the national security. It can't be something that is merely incriminating to President Trump, because if it's something that's incriminating to President Trump, well, the FBI would already know it.
All right, well, a lot more information to come on this story. You can read the full article on Newsweek.com. Bill, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me on.
Thanks, Bill.
Other headlines.